You are listening to Dubai Eye 103.8, David Bowie there. And it's me, Helen Farmer, asking you, what advice would you give to someone who's just arrived in Dubai? They've just touched down. What do they need to know? Brinda's saying, be nice, politeful, respectful towards everyone around you. Different nationalities, different professionals, different cultures. We've had messages about going exploring, go to the desert and safari, go to Mamza Park and know that it's only for girls on Mondays and Wednesdays, says Nelly. We've also had just lovely messages about being kind to animals, about building a social network. And of course, getting used to the traffic as well. Because as Dubai's population climbs towards 4 million, that's what we're talking about today, get in touch with your tip for new arrivals into the region. Not only can you share some words of wisdom, but it'll get you into the draw to win 500 dirhams to spend at a Dubai classic. Benjerong at the Dusat Thani Dubai has just unveiled its summer menu. 3 courses of Thai dishes paired with mocktails and a pretty gorgeous view of the Dubai skyline as well. 500 dirhams to spend if you send me a bit of advice for a new arrival, whether you've only been here a matter of weeks yourself or maybe you grew up here. What do you think every Dubai dweller needs to know? Let me know on 4001. We heard earlier that report saying 1,000 new arrivals to the city every single day during the first quarter of 2025. So the demand for homes and schools and job opportunities is skyrocketing. And for many, the dream of moving to this vibrant metropolis is a leap into the unknown. And today we're speaking with Lisa van der Walt, who is a relocation specialist with CSP Group, who's seen this influx firsthand. She's been here decades. And Emma Jordan is here, an expert in cultural intelligence. She's the author of a book called Dubai Decoded to help new arrivals make the most of their move. Before we get to the text line, I just want to say something. Just that I think it takes such guts to get on a plane and make that move. I really do. I think everyone who's made that step to, say goodbye maybe to friends and to family and step into the unknown deserves massive credit and praise. And I look back, I did it very naively at 24 with a terrible ex-boyfriend in a suitcase full of CDs. It was a little bit foolish looking back, but no regrets. I think we often don't give ourselves credit for it. And I just think it's an amazing thing to do. So if you have done that, take a pause, and give yourself a little pat on the back. We're going to go to the text line. We've had a message here, anonymous, saying, please no name, but I find my colleagues very cliquey. They only seem to socialise within their own nationalities. I've been here a few months and I'll chat to anyone. They're not rude to me, but wouldn't invite me to join lunch, etc. I'm trying not to take it personally, but it does sting. Emma, one for you, I think.
Yeah, it's something we see often. And I think it's really easy to be offended by the fact that your colleagues don't maybe want to socialise with you at lunchtime. But if you flip that thought process on its head and say, your colleagues are potentially speaking English as a second language all day, and during their lunchtime, they want that kind of psychological safe space where they can just let their hair down, be themselves, be in amongst their own culture. So, and maybe speak their first language with their colleagues. And so what that then creates is, in the canteen, pockets of, here's all the Filipinos sat together, here's all the Indians sat together, and so on. And if you're not of any of those nationalities, you may potentially feel on the fringe. My advice would be, see how you can interact with them during the working day rather than worrying about lunchtime. But then, try and find your own tribe outside of work. What things are you interested in? What hobbies have you got? There's always a meetup for every hobby that you can think of. So, get online, have a look at what meetup groups exist so that you can then find people with common interests outside of work.
Which actually ties into a message we've had from Dell saying, I'm currently here alone, wife and kids moving over for the start of the next academic year. I'm sure the kids will be fine making friends through school, etc. But my wife will be looking for work and is already worried about that, plus finding some friends, so would appreciate some assurances. We can do that. You actually do that professionally.
Yeah, so professionally I provide intercultural relocation coaching. Part of that is helping people to get to grips with all the different cultures they're going to come into contact with. But the other part of that is just daily living. How do I navigate Dubai? What networking groups should I be going to? How can I make friends? What apps should I have on my phone? All of the just essential things that you don't know unless you've had chance to kind of interact with somebody and they kind of hold your hand and walk you through that. And my coaching basically does that for them.
I would say just don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Like, I've made friends in the weirdest places. Like, honestly, I've made friends on Instagram, for example. I've made friends, a really good friend of mine I met in a car park because she asked me about my buggy. Through the kids, through the gym, so many different ways. But I will never, ever fail to be impressed when someone in a Facebook group shows up and types and says, I've just moved here, I'm living in this area, my kids are 6 and 4 and I'm really lonely. Does anyone want to go for a coffee? This is what I like doing. Do you want to play paddle? Do you want to go out for a drink? Whatever that might be, because I think we've all felt that way to an extent.
100%.
We've all felt a bit lost and new, and people want to help. And I'm often really kind of heartened by the outpouring of people going, I don't live there, but my kids are the same age, could we meet in the middle? Or I'd love to do that. With the social side, because I'm sure you'd end up doing quite a bit of coaching when people are relocating here, so it's not just about the red tape side. How do you talk to people about integrating and finding their tribe and having some patience with that sometimes? Maybe.
I mean, look, our consultants are great. They've also, they're really personable. So when a family does come over and they're out and about with, our consultant, she also, a lot of them have been here for many years. So they've also got ideas on how to find ways to integrate. And Facebook is really, it's a great opportunity. There's, British mums in Dubai. There's
real
UK
mums,
expats, there's SA expats, and everybody's in there chirping, and depending on your neighbourhood, a good point, because there's a community group for every neighbourhood in Dubai, be it Remram, be it Damac Hills, JVC, you name it, there's a Facebook group, and a lot of mums would be on there. So
I think it's also just about being outward looking. Because it is such a high population of expats here, we've, as you say, all been in that situation.
Correct.
So most people are open to you saying, hey, can I grab your number?
Yes.
We got on quite well, I wouldn't mind going for a coffee with you again. And they'll give you their number, but you've got to be also willing to kind of put yourself out there and ask for the number in the first place.
And that can be whether you've just arrived or we know how transient it is. I've had friends leave along the way and had these moments of real loneliness and being like, oh gosh, and then friends show up through a friend of a friend. I met a really lovely woman at Pilates last week and we were chatting afterwards, and I was like, I really feel like I want to get to know you a bit better, but I don't know how to say
welcoming,
hi.
actually,
I think so.
I mean, like, people say that it's hard to make friends sometimes, but I feel Dubai is pretty welcoming.
I'd rather move here than London,
100%,
in terms of people being open to it. I just want to finish, first of all, by saying thank you both for your time, both in terms of expertise. And of course, if anyone wants to send me the word house or Dubai or whatever, I'll know what you mean. I'll connect you with both Lisa and Emma in the book as well. But beautiful message here from Mona saying, I've lived here for almost 39 years and I've seen Dubai grow into what it is today. As a converted Muslim married to a local, it saddens me how some people disrespect the country's rules and regulations, and most importantly, the culture. Some turn up dressed immodestly in shopping malls, school run, public areas. Some look down on other nationalities and many stay in their own circles. Many don't make any effort to know their neighbours, don't even learn basic words, even though we are living in this country. I'm always impressed when sales assistants learn English and even Russian when there aren't many here. I know many people who've come here for a safer place to live and raise their children, but then criticise people when it doesn't match their own culture from wherever they've come from. And it comes back to our point before. Frank's just saying this very second, respect local laws, familiarise yourself with UA laws, especially those related to public behaviour, social media use. We are guests in this country, and we are very, very, very lucky to be here. So if we'd stop wearing swimsuits to them all, that would be fantastic. Is that a fine note to end on?
Or short shorts.
We don't want to see it.
No, exactly.
Listen, we should do an after hours one. That's all I will say. But Lisa and Emma, thank you so much. If you want details of our guests this hour, whether it is to do with relocations or, of course, cultural intelligence and coaching around that, send me the word house and I'd be very happy to connect you.
Weather check with Air Arabia. Explore Vienna, Krakow, Warsaw, Athens and Milan.